Hello, my beautiful viewers on E360. How are you feeling? I am feeling so excited. Our miracle man is there, is here. Our beautiful rosebud is here. Our beautiful life force is here. Our beautiful spotlight author, beautiful Selena Bell is here in the house, in the house. Ooh, ooh. And then to all my diamond beauties and Tanzanite heroes, thank you for watching us live and also on the replay. Here's to all of you. Mwah. So, my beautiful Crystal, you have sent Selena our way. I am handing it all over to you, my beautiful one.
Thank you so much. And I'm so excited again. Thank you to E360 TV. And yes, hello, big shout out to all the Diamond Beauties, all the people who are watching with the Diamond Beauties. Come join on in. Tanzanite Heroes and everybody else who's watching with them. It's a fantastic group. So I'll quickly introduce myself. My name is Krista. I'm from Canada, and I fulfilled my dream of becoming an Amazon #1 best-selling author of the book Skip the Pain, Experience the Pleasure, and I have to do my tagline, cut the crap that's holding you back so you can live the life you love. I'm an international speaker. I'll be going to Romania October 3rd, 4th, and 5th if anybody is around there and wants to come see me. I'm a nutritionist, Reiki master. I do energy work in many modalities, and I assist others in my role as an earth angel. So I'm going to start off by having our spotlight author, Shalina Bell, who has an amazing book. So if you can tell us a little bit about yourself and your book, that would be fantastic.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me. And I am so happy to be here. And so let's start with I'm a mom of two. I'm an author, a Reiki master as well. I also am a paraeducator for a preschool in New Jersey. I'm also an energy changer and a life influencer, I like to call myself. I'm also the creator of Daily Rituals Movement, which I started during COVID. And this book has been years in the making, and it is basically my memoir thus far, also a self help book. And it's solely based on evolution, healing our inner child, what doing the work means, and the importance of self love and taking care of yourself and digging deep within to figure out what are those things that we still need to heal from that still trigger us. That means we still need work to do. So I felt like if I share my journey, maybe I can help other people feel seen and also feel like they're not alone. And they can also see that my life isn't perfect, even though I'm always smiling and people think I just get things given to me all the time and I'm this lucky person. But I too also feel like I'm an earth angel and my story was meant to be told because I could probably most likely help a lot of other people. And I feel like that is me serving my purpose. So,
That
and
is
it's called Don't Worry, Inner
fantastic.
Child, We Got This. Thank
Yes,
you.
and I cannot wait to really get into it. So I'm going to have our esteemed panelists introduce themselves. Sinette, I will start with you.
Oh, thank you, my beautiful one. So yesterday I heard somebody called me a life smith, and today somebody's called me a life master, and I was like, wow, wow, wow. But I am Sanette. I'm a voice amplifier. I create space and stages for millions of incredible souls around the world to share their wisdom, their brilliance, and their stories. So it's totally an honor to be here. And I just want to mention something quickly. Selena, me, and you have something in common. We were both born in June, and both of us were born on Father's Day. Mine was only 20th of June, 1965. I was born on Father's Day, and yours was 15th. I don't know what year, but you were also born on Father's Day. How incredible synchronicity.
Wow. Look at that.
Oh, over to you, my beautiful Crystal.
That is amazing. Of course, no synchronicities. Everything's meant to be. So, Howard, uh, can you tell us about yourself?
So, first of all, I am just so excited. I'm known as the Miracle Man on this show. And from Sinette, she gives everyone nicknames. Shalina, I just want to tell you the vulnerability in the book, I just really resonated with that. It went deep, it was true, and I felt like I already know you, but we're going to learn a whole lot more. So, I'm Howard Brown. I am Mr. Shining Brightly. So, I am a best selling author, award winning international speaker, a top podcaster, and also a Silicon Valley entrepreneur, but also a 3 time stage 4 cancer patient and survivor. So we all get knocked down in life and in business and in health and in relationships. And it's our job to learn from those experiences, to use the light of others to get back up again and lift each other up. So glad to be here. We're going to have a great show.
That is excellent, and that's exactly what you're doing. So, Laura, introduce yourself.
Yes, hi. I just noticed Miss Shalina. I cannot see her, but hopefully Miss Sinette will work on that. Howard, it's so amazing to see your beautiful face. I'm so happy you're here.
I'm back. I'm back.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So, hello, everyone. I'm Laura Brennan Ballet, and some very cool news that I'll continue to share. Number one international best-selling author, and I hit Amazon 3 time best-selling author, all in the same week. Woohoo! What I love
Wow.
about sharing this is to support and empower every person out there that has a story to share. However, it may look to you, there is always someone, if not hundreds or thousands or millions of people that need to read your story. It will make a difference and it is so important. So, speaker, coach, thought, energy, mindset, development specialist, and all of that beautiful stuff that you can find in the links. I'm ready to get going for with our interview, but I'm waiting for Miss Annette to give us the go ahead. There she is.
There we are.
Yeah.
Shalana, so so happy that you came back again. This is live TV, and
Whoops.
sometimes technical difficulties happen, but they're all for a reason. So I
Yes.
am going to actually be a little selfish and ask the first question because sometimes we steal
Sure.
each other's. So I need to jump in because I have the opportunity. So, first of
There you
all,
go.
my angel number is 111. So on page 111, also 222, but 111, you talked about your best friend Jess, and they shared a scripture, and it really caught me because it said, um, "It is good for me that I have been afflicted." And
Mhm.
I notice it reflects the highs and the lows of your journey. Life's challenges can break us.
Absolutely.
I know I've gone through them. I know we've all have gone through them. And definitely you highlighted that so beautifully in your book. Can you tell the viewers a little bit more about what that scripture meant to you and why you put it in the book?
Ooh. So there's so many things that I kind of touch base on in the book that were a part of my journey as I started my 20s into my 40s now. At 22, I was told you have these tumors that are non cancerous, and we don't know if you'll be able to have children. So that was the first thing that almost broke me completely because I was a very maternal person since I was a little girl. I've always played with baby dolls growing up, and I always said, I don't really care about getting married, but I know I want to be a mom. So at 22, when someone says to you, we don't know if you'll be able to have children, and at the time, doctors weren't really familiar with fibroid tumors, especially with someone at my age. Usually it's older women they really didn't know what to do with me or how to treat it. So I was more of like a guinea pig. So that was that first test I felt like that could have broke me. But there was like that little 1% chance of me that was like, don't completely give in on that. So that I was diagnosed with. And then in 2005, my mom suddenly passed away out of nowhere. That was another one that I felt like was on that checklist of I've been afflicted by a few things. And that, I think, between my health and my mom passing were the two, that saying, God likes to give his strongest soldiers, the toughest battles. I was pretty sure I was first in line for one of those soldiers from the things that were thrown at me and me having to deal with. And I was even at a point in my life where I said, I don't know what the purpose of me going through this so young was, but I'm sure there's a reason and I will find it out one day. But at that time, I had no idea. So I say that to say this, that afflicting situations that we go through in life help mold us into the person we're meant to become. If it weren't for those trials and tribulations, and I like to call them the three T's of life, the test, trials, and tribulations we go through, I wouldn't be the woman that I am today. So instead of being like a victim, I'm more grateful and I have an attitude of gratitude. And it's easier said because I'm such an evolved soul now. But when I was younger, of course, I was definitely thinking differently. But I think perspective is such a big thing on how we look at anything that we're dealing with. That there's something usually bigger that comes out of the situation. Of course, I missed losing my mom. I actually was blessed and have two babies. I call them my miracle children. So, Howard, we have that word in common too. But I just go back and say, wow, 20 years later, I have a fresh start on life. I've had a surgery that basically removed all of the female organs so I didn't have to deal with growing these tumors because those things would grow and they get removed and they come back and they grow again. And Crystal, when I tell you the pain that I dealt with for 20 years was debilitating. And I don't regret one day doing that surgery 2 years ago because I'm actually getting to see what it's like to live life and actually enjoy it without being in pain all the time.
Mm.
And my mom, I feel her spirit around me all the time. So I don't even really feel it as so much of a deep loss. I get little reminders sometimes that'll trigger the missing part of her, but I feel her. So I think a lot of those situations have strengthened me. It gave me more of a character, it helped define who I was, and it also gave me appreciation for people around me that I love to tell them you love them because tomorrow's not promised. And I got to experience that with my mom out of nowhere. And it just makes you look at life and from a different lens, I should say. And now I'm going to put mine on for that.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. And I want to point out that you may not even realize that one of the purposes of you being on the show, there might be some people out there with pain and now may think maybe it's fibroid tumors. They can bring it up. Maybe they can educate their doctors. Maybe somebody out there who lost their mom, who is feeling sad or suffering, now looks at you and thinks maybe there's areas they can feel grateful. So you're right now inspiring others. That's without reading the book. So again, I have to really emphasize this book really transformed so many areas of my life, the way I view things, and I encourage our viewers to go out and get it. It,
Thank you
it
so
definitely
much.
will change your life. So,
I love that.
Laura,
Thank
I will hand it over to you.
Cool, thank you. And of course, I thought about you through the quotes. So, this fam here, we love quotes because there's always such an important reason why the author chooses them. But we have such a great time together because we usually have each other's quotes and questions. So, I'm going to go into a few things. I too suffered
Sure.
with fibroid tumors when I was young. And
Oh,
I just recently lost my dad, but I feel the exact same way. There's such a connection to his life force still. I miss him in the human sense, but not in the knowing sense. My consciousness knows he's here. I feel him all the time. And I think that's
right.
important for us to be transparent and vulnerable and share those commonalities because people could look at each one of us and think, oh, I know how it is for you. But then when they hear, oh, we're all alike, then it allows us, I think, to really have room to grow. So my first quote that I'm going with, and I love this, and I have a few reasons why, is children are the living message we send to a time we will not see. And as a mother, or for those out in the world that weren't able to have children, we still find our way of being in almost kind of the caregiving, right, position. Nieces, nephews, our best friends have kids, someone asks us to be a godparent. But what I loved about this is almost what you talk about for me, that is this golden thread in the book, is healing that inner child messaging. I don't know. I know that I'm feeling what you wrote in there, but can you, I think, empower our listening audience through what I feel is a very empowering quote about the child within? Because now we do have an opportunity to message that child for our future self, even though we're adults.
Absolutely, I agree. And it's funny because I had no idea about inner child or healing the inner child. I couldn't even, if someone mentioned that to me years ago, I wouldn't even know what we were talking about. And it was through my evolution of doing the work and finding things that could help me or inspire me or motivate me. But what really did it for me was certain things that triggered me. And I tended to attach myself to like ex-boyfriends' moms or good friends' mothers. And I didn't realize until I was older, why do I gravitate to everyone else's mom? And this is before my mom passed away. My
Mm,
mother and I didn't have that close relationship that I had, any girl would have wished that we had. So I found myself attaching or clinging to other people's mothers because it was a lack my inner child never got. She was never emotionally fulfilled or given the attention or the affection that she needed when she was younger. So, in turn, when we don't deal with or face those things that we have suffered from as children, they manifest into attachment issues or abandonment issues, and not just friendships, but also relationships. And it could not just be your mom, it could be your father that you had those issues with growing up that you didn't receive that. So then you attach yourselves to relationships or friendships that feel like it feels familiar subconsciously to you. So you don't realize, okay, why am I staying friends with this person? Oh, because it reminds me subconsciously of what I felt like when I was a child, and it's familiar. But is it right? No. And the reason is because you never sat with yourself and asked the right questions. Why is that triggering me? Why does that bother me? Or why am I so drawn to things that are not good for me? And then I did a lot of self reflection and work on myself. And I said, wow, I really miss having like that maternal love and affection that I didn't receive as a child. And I think there's also another saying that givers tend to give a lot because we are feeding that child that didn't receive it. And I am very guilty of that. And I can attest to say I am a giver wholeheartedly. I love to love, I love people. And I also know to have that you have to have like, you have to know when to not give too much of yourself, but it's very hard when that's who you are
mm,
wholeheartedly. But the inner child in me always wants to make someone else smile and someone to feel seen. And it's because I didn't feel that growing up. Now,
mm,
did I ever have resentment with my mom because of that? Believe it or not, because I am so aware, I never did. And I think it's because I started to like, you look deeper into people and the reasons why people do the things that they do. And I said, she's just a product of her environment. She only knows what she grew up with and how she was loved and how she was shown affection and emotion. So I can't really have resentment or anger towards her. It's because we only know what we were taught. So what can I do about it? I can heal myself from those things and talk to that inner child of mine and let her know that we got this. You don't need
mm.
to feel those things anymore.
I love this. And I think also this is such a great book for young parents. that
Yeah.
either are just venturing in and maybe haven't done the work themselves. It might be a beautiful opportunity for them to start discussing to and for one another, but maybe even touching base within that own inner child, because as this says, you're as a parent, we're creating these living messages. They're like these vessels of energy going forward, and if we don't equip them with the right connection to self, they just repeat the patterns. And that's something that you broke. You knew, I have these issues, and yet I'm going to heal and do the work. So I love that. I think that's so important. And of
Yeah.
course, I love this. We got this. It's just
Thank you.
amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
Great insight. And I just wanted to tell a few of the newer viewers of when we put our shades or our sunglasses on, it's kind of like one of those aha moments. We don't really want to say, but we'll put them on when we have these, insights that really resonate with us. But if I can take a few moments, we have quite a few people watching right now and making some comments. So I have Gail is saying, "Good day, you lovelies." And she also was talking about learn, grow, and change. And Christiana from Begin Within has a whole bunch of emojis with sunglasses. And Maya, it says, "Love you, Mom."
Aw.
That one brings tears to my eyes. You see, it's just something you say. Again, we do the best with the tools we have, and you are such a beautiful, divine being, Shalina. So that's a few of the messages you're receiving from just a small bit of our viewers. But Howard, what questions are you burning to ask?
So, I wrote Shining Brightly as my memoir. It's a little bit different, but there are lessons that we all try to bring is that what happens when we have to let people go. And there's a specific quote early on in the book on the little me that says, sometimes you need to distance yourself from the people you love, even if it hurts, especially if it hurts. Nishan Panwar. And I want you to speak on this, Shalina, because drawing boundaries and letting the negativity go is such a discipline and it's not easy. Tell me how you did that.
Whew, I can give you a great example on that, Howard. My last relationship I was in for 4 years, and I see people's heart and soul. I don't see the outside or the 3D of the way they do things. Not many people can attest to that and say that they can do that. I think that also is what is the driving force that keeps me around friendships and relationships longer than I probably outstay my welcome. The last relationship I was in, I started to notice patterns and behaviors of the person I was with that were toxic and unhealthy. And I have this one saying that I say, never date a man you wouldn't allow your daughter to date. And I tell that to everyone. And I said to myself, I wouldn't let my daughter date this guy. What are we doing? Like, why? If he's not good enough for my daughter, he's not good enough for me either.
Right.
But it's because I feel soul connections with people. That was another reason I stayed longer because I felt the connection. And I started to feel like awake and alive. My soul had someone to talk to, and it was more of those things. But then I started to realize, no, this is something to do with your inner child, is why you're staying in this and why you were still dealing with it. And it got to the point where I told him, like, I'm not doing this anymore. And just like that, I said, this is it for me. Like, I'm not starting the new year. And I ended it before New Year's. I said, I'm not doing this with you for another year. I'm not bringing my New Year's into this. This is not how my year is going to start. I'm ending this now easily. And just like that. But it took me 4 years to get to that. But in those 4 years, once again, no resentment against him either, because he's also, I feel a lot of adults are walking around as broken children, inner child.
Yes.
And he was one of them. And not to say I'm perfect because I'm still healing, obviously, but it was a lot of things with him were so damaged. You know that there's another, I love quotes too, guys. So I could go on quotes all day long, but there's another quote that I love too that says, um, I'm trying to remember exactly how it goes, but people that are hurt or broken will bleed onto others that never cut you. And he was
Mm,
bleeding all over me. And all I did was show love because he always says, "You're like a light in my life." I'm always a light in other people's lives to the point that I say, I think I'm on a mission from God in every relationship. But at the same time, I've always learned something about myself and it helped me evolve. At the same time, I said, you know what, this is where this boundary needs to stop. I'm not going to keep going through the same cycles with you. You're not doing the work to heal your inner child or the things that have damaged or broken you. So all that's going to do is dim my light, and my light's not meant to be dimmed. So I left.
And
mm.
Shalina, it's not your job to fix them. You can help them a little.
No, I'm not a
They've got to
mechanic.
they've got to carry the ball. And I want to tell you that if you've broken that cycle and given that unconditional love to at least one of your daughters here, Maya Fletcher, which
Yeah.
I think you have,
Oh
then
yeah.
you've done okay. You've done
Yeah.
okay. So thank you for
Oh,
Thank
that.
you. Thank you, Howard.
what a fantastic question because as you're talking about letting go of people, basically who don't serve you, and fantastic answer. When you let go of them, you allow more people to come into your life.
Oh,
And I
yes.
know when I read your book, I want to be part of your life. And I
Oh,
know when the viewers buy your book and read your book, you're going to have more room for people to come into your life. So that was so eloquently asked, Howard, perfectly and answered. So, Miss Annette, what are you burning to ask?
Thank you so much, my beautiful Rose. But so, my beautiful Selena, you mentioned it so eloquently. When you connect the dots, then you see all the lessons, all the things that came your way so that you can serve others with love. So, I've got this question regarding your book. What emotions would you like to invoke on any reader going through your book? And at the end of the book, closing the book and say, wow.
I feel like my main, I don't want to say I feel. I know for sure that my one of my main purposes is to make people feel seen because I truly believe everybody wants to feel that. And if reading my journey and telling my story of the things I've experienced can make you feel seen at the end of that book, and everyone that's read it can say they can relate to one of those chapters, whether it's a chapter or something I quoted or just anything that I have stated in that book, then I've served my purpose. So the emotion is to feel seen and your heart to feel fulfilled. Feels like someone else gets you.
I love that. And I especially want to remind the viewers, please click on the link below. Beautiful Selena's elevator pitch, her connect to her book, her link for to buy her book is in there. A short snippet of her book is there. My beautiful Howard, Rose, Crystal, Rose, and Laura, the elevator pitch with the connection point. So please connect with all of us and go and buy Selena's book, my beautiful viewers. Crystal, all over to you.
Mm. Oh, mute. Can't hear you.
Great, another great question and great answer. And when you're talking about that, the feeling about being seen, I've said that often, and I know right now, I'm sure the viewers, once they read your book, because this is when the aha moment for me, I might not have gone through the same experiences, but I went through a lot of the same feelings. And
Mm.
that is really what brought up so many amazing parts of the book that I could be seen, like you said. So you definitely nailed that. So you already touched on the three T's, so I won't go into that question. You already took that one. But I'm just going to talk about Dr. Wayne Dyer for a minute. I've been a huge fan, and the one quote I use, I write about, I want to live by is, if you change the way you look at things, the way the way you look at things change. And it's so true because we can see things sometimes so narrowly, and we don't know what other options are out there, or we don't know what else is out there that's affecting us and that can bring us love and joy. So, can you tell us a little bit about why you chose that book, and that quote, and even how you connected with him, and anything else you'd like to tell the viewers?
So it's so funny how I want to say things just happened to stumble upon me at different times of my evolution. Wayne Dyer was one of the first people I came across with the shift. And I ended up finding out that there was a movie, and I started watching the movie, and I felt it's such a, I don't even know how to explain, maybe a euphoric moment when you come across another soul that feels like they're from the same star, or feels like they speak the same language as you, because I always felt like I was different from everybody growing up. So when I saw him and I watched that movie, and I feel like that quote is very similar to me saying the same as perspective is everything. If you don't like something, you can't change it, then change the way you look at it. So I felt like it kind of goes hand in hand with that, with his saying. But he was just kind of like the beginning of me finding all of these people and learning and a part of my journey. I wish he was still here. I'm actually friends with his daughter on Facebook
Yeah.
because I said this man, he's a one of one, and it's hard to find other people that speak like him, but there's something to be said about if you just read a book from a person that wrote about things that you can relate to. But when you hear a person speak and you feel the energy in their words, it hits different. It lets you feel more, I guess, like, wow, they're not just writing anything. This isn't just some made up story. Like, it's more powerful when you hear a voice and you tell the story. And watching him, I was just like, who is this man? And then I found out he passed, and I said, oh, just when I found him, and he's such an inspirational. I can listen to him talk all day long. I even still have videos saved on Instagram that I find anything with him talking about anything, I save it. I love anything that can be an inspiration or empower me to become even better than I am today. So,
Yeah. And I just want to really confirm from my heart that he is still with us. He's with us right now. He's with you as well as your mom. I can feel their presence. And when you
uh,
said of how, the power of your word, when you hear them talk, well, look at what's happening here. Not only
yes,
do we have an amazing book that you wrote, you're speaking about it, and I have goosebumps when you speak about it. So it's serving so many purposes. But I need to read one of your another great comment. It says, love this, feeling seen is so very important. And when you said about being seen by people kind of like-minded, it's really interesting because I'm very fortunate that I had someone who was able to step into my role when I was on beautiful vacation in Cancun, Gail. And I right before the show, I had a conversation with her, and I was seen, and so to connect with someone like that, just like yourself, just like all of us. So thank you for really answering that from your heart. So Laura, what do
Yeah.
you have
So
coming
Dr.
up
Wayne
there?
Dyer, I might be a little older than you. I've been following him forever. And for anyone who doesn't know who he is, search him out, his PBS specials. And this is a man that truly traveled the globe and went into the deepest, darkest aspects of himself and others, and really found the highest and best vibration in himself and others. And he's a teacher. He was a teacher, as you said, from another place, but in physicality for us. And so I'm glad you found him. But out of probably the thousands of books I have, I only keep a few. because I give mine away after I read, but all of his books are ones that I've kept. And you should check out Leo Biscaglia. He writes about love, and he was an Italian writer that's unbelievable too. But I'm going to bring this back to the inner child. I love when you reference being in school and being around the children. So, when you are interacting with them, what is the threading that you see, that golden thread that you see within all of them, but they themselves and most of us adults have yet to discover that? Because I think there's something very empowering here, especially being around that energy all the time. It makes it near impossible to forget that part of you.
So it's funny because I am in pre-K now, and I've been with pre-K for 2 years, and before that, I was in kindergarten as a
Mhm.
para. And when I moved up, a lot of the other staff were asking me, like, secretly, like, how's pre-K? How do you like it? Like, whispering to me, like I went to the dark side or something. And I said, I don't want to say this out loud, but I'm surprised I get paid to come here and do this because I don't feel like it's a job. So for me, and what what I've dealt with and the things I've gone through and healed from, I feel like my inner child is going to play with their friends every day. I'm still a teacher at the same time, but I treat them in the same aspect because it's almost like I'm looking at myself at this age. So I'm giving them all of the energy that I would have wanted someone to give me at that age.
Mm.
And I also feel like from all of the responses from the parents and the things that they tell me of, if I'm absent, they're looking for me the next day. Like, where were you, Miss Bell? How dare
Oh,
you not be here? And I see that they feel seen and loved. I've had another teacher say every kid deserves a Miss Bell in their life.
oh.
And I honestly feel that I can make them feel safe and they feel seen and they feel loved. And if you feel those things at the age when you're introduced to abandonment or rejection, the things that will cause trauma, this is usually the age that you're able to recognize when things start to happen, right? So if I am in their life and I can make them feel all of those positive energies, I look at it as I may be able to change the trajectory of some of their choices that they make as an adult because they have that contrast. A lot of adults don't have that contrast. So we're going through the three T's that we could have probably avoided some of those if we had that feeling of what's it like to feel safe, seen, and loved and heard at 4 and 5 years old. If I
Hmm.
can change that, they can say as an adult in this relationship or this friendship, this doesn't feel how love is and doesn't feel safe and it doesn't feel heard because I know what that's like because I had a misspell. So I have that contrast and I have something to compare it to. So to
And
me,
I
I don't
want
feel like I'm working.
and I want to say to you, have you read either one of the stories that Dr. Dyer talks about? Teddy is one of them, and the
I've heard
doctor.
him mention Teddy.
They are two of the stories that every listener should search out for exactly what you're saying. It's the importance that even any of us, whenever we see a child, I do this, my husband, my family knows, like call me the baby whisperer, but we will be out anywhere, a casino, traveling, an airport. Me and babies just shoom, because they know, yes, because they only operate on energy. They haven't made the neuronal connections of judgment and perception and projection. And so I think this is such an important aspect of you as a teacher, and really voicing that opportunity for all of us adults. Connecting with children from that heart centered energy is us connecting back to ourselves. And so it's this beautiful synergy of healing in us and going back to the living messages we're sending into the future. So you are changing that trajectory. One of those children, if not several, will remember Mrs. Bell, Miss Bell, and what she did for me, and that will change how they go forward in their life. So kudos and honor to you for teaching our young.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you.
That is, it's so amazing how one question can lead, to so many more insights. But again, I just want to give a shout out to our viewers. So we have Shalina, living from your inner child, wisdom is brilliant. And there's Lauren, who's leaving a bunch of emojis like, hey, 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 giving you
Fire.
some
It's fire.
high
It's
fives.
fire. It's
Oh,
fire.
fire. Yeah, fire.
It's
Like you're on
fire.
fire. You're on
On
fire. On
fire. On
fire.
fire. On fire.
So, everybody's really, really enjoying this. So, Howard, over to
I'm gonna
you.
kick. I got to kick it to Sinette because we're gonna start the speed round soon.
So my
Okay.
so my beautiful Selena, your chapter, you've got co- what do you call it? You got quotes next to
Quotation.
there on your titles, and then when you are in your book, you have done the quotes in, and I know you cannot see it, but it's so beautiful. And then
Thank
all
you.
of your chapters started with a hand and a heart like this. Can you just quickly tell us before Howard takes the speed round, why did you do all your in your content page all the quotations, and then why that, please?
Well, actually, that's my logo that I created because I heal with my hands. And I feel like our heart is what needs to be healed the most. So I made that as my logo.
Beautiful.
And your content, your index, why did you put everything in quotes?
I also love to design things to make them look nice. So it just had to be appealing to the eye when I created it.
And tell the viewers who have created the cover of your book. Tell quickly,
I
tell.
did. I actually designed the entire book myself. And that picture on the cover of my book is actually, it was me looking at a bed of flowers. I actually edited and cropped out the flowers, put a house, and inside the house is an actual picture of me as a little girl. And I made the color of the cover sepia, so this way the dress color that I had on when I was little would pop. So you could see that it was me in the window. So it's me as a little girl looking back at me as an adult.
Nice. Love
Thank
that.
you.
That's fantastic. Do you have your book that you can show right now? That you
Yes.
can, that way everyone can get a visual of what you just said. Because I know when I saw it and I saw you, it's like you looking at your younger self.
Yeah.
There you go.
So that's
Absolutely
me. And
beautiful.
then this is me. If you could get a little
Yeah, right in
closer.
the window. Yeah, I absolutely love it. Okay, well, this gets to the
Yeah.
fun part. So we have
Speed
a
round?
speed round. So what this is basically is you'll be asked, a question or maybe a word, and give a just really quick, short answer. First thing that pops in your head.
Okay.
So
I like
Howard, do
this
you
like
want
a
to
game
start?
show.
So we're gonna share this time. I do them, but we're gonna play team ball today because life's a team sport. And
It
also,
is.
Miss Sinette has our paparazzi stick. So you are gonna be a
Oh.
movie star. You're a movie star. You're
Ooh.
all right. So look, Miss Laura, I'd love you to start with your first two.
Okay. My first one, inner child.
Bingo.
I have to say what comes to my mind when I hear the word.
Yep.
Short. Yeah.
All of us.
Nice. All right. Emotional intelligence.
Ugh. Awareness.
There you go. Howard?
I'm gonna now go, Sinette. You're next. Two.
Oh, I didn't open it. So you go first, my beautiful Howard. You go.
Okay. The word is resilience.
Strength.
Love it. The word is mother. I
Ugh.
know this is hard.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Uh,
What do you feel?
sad.
Oh,
That's your feeling. And then the last one is the magic word, HOPE, hope.
Ugh. Hold on, pain ends.
There you
Oh,
go.
woo,
Krista.
goosebumps,
Oh my
goosebumps.
God. Oh my God. Krista.
My
Oh my
I
God.
exactly. So mine is a self-love,
Yeah.
Ooh, universal.
Mm, love these.
manifestation.
Ugh,
Manifestation.
visualization.
Love it. I love
So
it.
my beautiful Howard, can you
Yes.
tell the viewers about your triple triple two? And I would love to for Selena after that show us what is around her neck.
So many people like to do this because it's a sign of energy or an angel. And I feel blessed today to be around the earth angels. But so different people, we flash 111, 444, 222, 333, you know, and it means to different people different things. And it's spiritual, it's meaningful, and sometimes it's just fun. And so you wear 222. Why?
So 222 actually has a lot to do with my mom, and she passed on 220. And then we were cleaning out her house, and we found her Bible, and she had a bookmark, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't even know she had a Bible." So I opened the bookmark, and she had wrote 222 the day I was reborn, but she had passed on 220, and we just thought that was really crazy to find that. And
Wow.
20 years later, I end up deciding to have this hysterectomy done because I couldn't deal with pain anymore, and it was in beginning of February. I called my doctor to schedule it. They said we have April. And I said, I don't know if I'm going to be able to wait until April. I hope I can survive that long.
Right.
My mom's anniversary comes the 20th of February. My sister and I go for bingo together to celebrate my mom. And an hour later, I tell my sister I'm in so much pain, like I can't even sit here.
Yeah.
Something tells me call the doctor's office in the morning on February 21st. So, February 21st, the next morning, I call the doctor. I said, I know you said you were going to call me if there was a cancellation, but something's telling me to call you. And they said, actually, we have a cancellation for tomorrow for 222, but I have to get your insurance to approve it because it's tomorrow. So go to the hospital, get your blood work for pre admission testing done just in case I can get it approved. I go to the hospital, I go to the lady, I let her know, and she goes, I have you for April. And she says, I need to call your doctor's office. If you want to go get some food, come back. It may take a while. And I said, I have a feeling this isn't going to take long. Not even 5 minutes, Howard. This lady comes back with the paper and she goes, well, I spoke to your doctor's office and your surgery's tomorrow on 222.
Yeah, I love that.
So
Yes.
20 years later on 222 was also the day I was reborn.
Thank
So
you.
I almost feel like my mom's future self wrote that for me to find it.
Amen. Amen. Thank you.
Amazing.
Who's is it Sinette or is it Krista?
well,
Krista?
we got a quick boom shakalaka
A boom
um,
Yeah,
shakalaka.
we did. Boom
comment.
shaka.
And again, I just want to bring up how everything is so meant to be. 22 and 222 is important for me too, and I have it right here in the cover of my new book, Shattering 22 Truths. Very, very similar, that I wish my younger self knew, looking at your younger self. So, look at the synchronicities here and how things are meant to be. I really want the viewers to not just buy the book because, we're saying it, or because, Shalina has been such an amazing guest, but because this will truly change your life. You'll be able to connect with it in so many ways that you'll be blown away. So, yeah, thank you. And just Laurent says, I see 222 at least 2 times every day. So
Maybe that's
thank you,
actually my
Laurent.
younger brother.
Oh, there we
Oh,
go.
well, at least AM. I guess
Hi,
he does stay up
family.
late. AM and PM. I guess he stays up late.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
cool.
that's so cool.
that's
We have
awesome.
some.
Well,
We
thank
have some
you.
business to take care of, Sinette.
So, Krista, you can hand over to me, my beautiful one.
Yes. So, Sinette, this is all over to you now.
Oh, thank you, my girl. Thank you. My beautiful Selena. How are you feeling at this moment?
Amazing. I could talk to you guys all day.
Yeah. That's the beauty
Seriously
of
though,
this.
it's so easy and organic.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for being our spotlight author. Thank you,
Thank
my
you.
beautiful Howard, for coming through.
Mm.
Even where you are now in your journey, that you make the time for us. We are truly honored that you are here. My beautiful Rosebud Krista, thank you for being an amazing host today. And my beautiful Life Force Laura, thank you for all your in depth, beautiful questions. So for me, I am truly blessed to be able to say, my beautiful Selena, my beautiful Laura, Crystal, and Howard, will you have a dance with me?
But of course,
Absolutely.
Madame,
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
My beautiful Leron, that's your brother, and my diamond beauties, and the viewers, will you have a dance with us? They said yes, they said yes. Yeah.
Walking on sunshine or dancing in the rain. Sprinkle me with fairy dust so I can fly away. Smiling at a moonbeam or squinting in the sun. Sprinkle me with fairy dust and cover me with
You
love.
guys, the butterfly.
thank you.
Butterflies to
Bye bye,
eagles.
everyone.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.
Thank